If you're only going to watch one private investigator training video, you have picked the right one, especially if you're preparing to take your first job as a private investigator. Hi, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. I'm the creator of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide series, which is premium private investigator training from someone who's been there and done that. I want to tell you today very quickly 4 things to watch out for before you take your first job. Number 1, if you're looking for jobs online, be careful, make sure it's a legitimate job and they're not just trying to scam you for your personally identifiable information, obviously. Number 2, when you're looking around for a job, no matter who you reach out to, who you contact, make sure it's not a scam just designed to sound like a job, but really sell you training. I'm a huge believer in training. Obviously, that's my thing, is I train private investigators to be in that top 10%. That's where all the money is. But there are people in companies out there, usually faceless companies, but some that'll put a personality out there, and they will pretend like they're hiring for private investigators, but then tell you you need all this training that you need to buy from them. Don't fall for that. Number 3, we're coming into a much more common problem here now, is investigative positions that are offered out there, but they're offered like they're skip tracers, finding missing persons, which I have a course on that, the Investigator's Ultimate Guide to Missing Persons and Fugitives. They're advertising for skip tracers, and really they're collections jobs. So yes, there's an element of skip tracing in it, but really what you're going to be doing is working the phone all day, talking to people, trying to collect debts from them. So that's not really the investigator job that you're thinking about, probably. And be cautious of people who are advertising for investigators, but really they're looking for debt collectors. 4th, and most importantly of all, when you do get hired by an agency, and even legitimate agencies, be careful of the non-compete agreement that they may or may not offer you when they first hire you. I know from personal experience running my own detective agency for 9 years, it's very expensive and time-consuming to bring on somebody, especially with no previous experience. Train them up, get them ready. You don't want to put the time, energy, and money into that, a company doesn't, and then have that person flake out and go to another job. So some companies, and I never did this, but some companies will put a non-compete agreement in front of you before they hire you. Now, this is a legitimate business thing for a lot of reasons, but here's what you want to watch out for. A non-compete agreement should have 2 elements to it, an element of time and an element of geography. Both need to be reasonable. So, for example, a non-compete agreement with a detective agency might say that you're not going to work for another agency within 1 year of leaving the employment of this agency. That may be reasonable. I don't know. You have to judge for yourself. The second element will be a geography. You will not work for another agency within 200 miles of this agency. All right. What you have to be aware of is the non-compete agreement that's far too overreaching, that you will not work for any other agency for 5 years. Well, that kills your career. And because there's no geographic limitation, it kills your career everywhere. And the bonus thing that you need to know about this is some states are instituting recency requirements on their experience. So no longer, it's bad enough that they require, say, 4 years of full-time experience to get your PI license. I think that's excessive. I get it, but I think that's excessive. But now they're adding recency. So it has to be the 4 most recent years, or 2 years, the most 2 recent years. If you have a non-compete agreement, even if you only have to abstain from working for a year, that may cause you to fall out of that recency requirement if you decide to get your own license and open your own agency. The things I just warned you about, I don't think are super prevalent out there, but you only got to get bit by one of them, and it costs you. I do have a free report titled, "If You Want to Be a Private Investigator, Give Up Unless You Do These 3 Things." That's available over at ShadowAnyone.com. Otherwise, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I will answer as many as I can. In the meantime, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.